Oh, what's up, EKN Nation? How are you? Rob Howden here for a new edition of our Face2Face show. David Cole joining me as well, back in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm Southern California right now, coming off the last couple events that we've had here. I head back out to a Road to Indy event at Indianapolis Motor Speedway this week. We know that David's got kind of a month in the office before he heads back to the racetrack as well. To get right back at it. The Supercarts USA Spring Nationals coming up. Another USPKS race coming up for David as well. But Dave, good to be in the office, getting a lot of stuff done. But it's been a while since we've done one of our face-to-face shows too.
It was. I think it was right after spring break that we had Jasperson and Gerald Kaesling with the CKNA and CKNA Canada division. So that was our last face-to-face show. So kind of been a month. Obviously when I came back from vacation, it was kind of busy. And then I went to GoPro, got the USPKS second event done of the year. And so now we're halfway through. We're crazy to think that we're halfway through that program now.
I know.
And getting ready to hit the midway point of the Pro Tour with the Spring Nationals, which will be in June for the first time.
Very true.
In Utah.
Interesting, David. We talked about this before in one of our podcasts. Kind of a lull right now to a certain extent in terms of national level races, but not so for a lot of the top regional races around the country. They kind of slotting themselves in here where there's opportunity. And the show today we're going to be talking about, we're going to go to somewhere that not a lot of people know a ton about. If you're a West Coast guy, it's in Southern California or East Coaster, you may not know a lot about the Pacific Northwest, but there has been a ton of great teams, great drivers who have come out of the Pacific Northwest over the last 5-6 decades, the sport of karting. The NorthWest Karting Association is kind of our focus here today, and their Padholder Super Cup program. David, there's a ton of excitement online through social media, right? Coming into the first couple of races, getting over that 100 mark to get things rolling. It was just really super cool to see a lot, this program kind of coming together in a place that has great racetracks and just great racers as well.
Yeah, it's always been a region that produces a lot of great racers and provides a lot of great races throughout the year. Even somewhat in the winter months now. Some of the racetracks even have races in January and February. But again, just kind of like what we get in the Michigan area and up in Ontario, Canada. We got to wait till that April or May for the race season to begin at our home tracks. And once it gets warm enough, this program, the NorthWest Karting Association, they hit the ground running and they get going right away to get the races out there and get everybody back to the racetrack.
Yeah, first round at Tri Cities in Richland, Washington. This coming not this week, but the week after. Was it 2021, 22, I think is the number at McMinnville in Oregon for the next rounds. And it's going to be a great show here. We've got Mike Schorn, the president of the program, joining us here today. A couple of the winning racers from the opening round at Tri Cities as well are going to join us here. So let's bring Mike in right now so we can kind of give those who may not know a little kind of insight of what's going on. Mike, we appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Well, thank you for inviting us.
Well, just so you guys know, if you want to know whether Mike's been around the sport long enough, the back wall there has got a bunch of those Duffy trophies that signal that he's not only been around a while, but also has some success. Mike, let's talk about the NorthWest Karting Association. For those who maybe don't know, can we have any connection or talk about IKF Region 6 at all? Because that's kind of, IKF Region 6 was the Pacific Northwest for so many years. You guys are now really the program now. IKF's, it doesn't have their regional programs anymore. You guys are the big show now.
Yeah, well, we've been historically from day one IKF until a couple of years ago, and we were probably the last real true IKF region that we just seriously did IKF racing. So there's a lot of history on that, and the whole region, we were originally always then the Gold Cup, NorthWest Gold Cup.
Yeah.
And then when we split away from IKF, then we had to get a new name and stuff, and came up with NorthWest Karting Association and went from there. The cool thing is we have road race and sprint. We used to have a little bit of speedway, but those guys kind of went a little bit independent, and they're a little bit different ducks per se. Although the BK,
a little different breed.
Yes. Although there is some heavy duty UAS guys up here.
Damn right there are.
Yeah. And and Salem I'll put the plug in for Salem. The BK is on this year, as far as I know. So there'll be awesome. a lot of the guys from the southeast and coming up to go thumping in the dirt up here in the wintertime. It'll be a great show.
That is an awesome race, man.
It is.
Kids are such a great race for sure. Now, listen, I was going to come to about that as well. You talked about not only is there a sprint series, which is really kind of our focus here, but there's also a pretty solid road race program as well in the Pacific Northwest, running out of the Ridge and some of the other tracks, getting down and working with some of the tracks in Northern California as well. But they do a great job with the road race program up there as well.
Yes, we do. I'm pretty proud of that aspect. We have 4 clubs that are road race clubs up here, PKA, Northwest Road Racers, PS, Puget Sound Road Race, 3 of them, I'm sorry. And then we all work together and hit 4 or 5 big tracks. So Pacific Raceways, the Ridge, like you said, PIR, Portland, and then Oregon Raceway Park out in the middle of south of Biggs. And then we also we'll hit Spokane once in a while. It's kind of a hit and miss depending on what we can do for scheduling and stuff. But so we run this year it's a 6-race series for the road race. And then for the sprint, we have a 5-event weekend, but a 10-race series.
Nice.
So
and you guys didn't used to have all those different tracks, because some of these tracks are fairly new, aren't they?
Right. So for road race, we used to run at Bremerton, which was an old airport strip. Basically, you go up one and make a couple of chicanes and come down the other end of the taxiway. And so Oregon Raceway Park, that's about, I think, 10 years old now. And then we used to go to Spokane pretty regular. And then the Ridge in the last 5 or 10 years, it's like Laguna Seca and Portland and Spokane all kind of built into one. And so they have the famous corkscrew there that a lot of guys get in trouble with.
Keep a lookout on eKartingNews.com. We'll be having kind of a preview a little bit of what's going on with the road race program for the NorthWest Karting Association as well. Give you the dates, categories, and kind of get some updates. We're working on that right now as well. Mike, let's talk about all the work that's been done in the off season. Obviously, digging in, a lot of momentum happening. You come up with a new title sponsor as well, a couple of title sponsors as well. It just seemed like there was a lot of momentum in the region, within the the tracks, the clubs, the industry as well. Man, you had a lot of guys in the karting industry stepping up big time to get behind this Padholder Super Cup.
Yes, we did, and we're very fortunate that we hold our conference once a year in the 9 or 10 clubs. We all have a big meeting. We actually get along. So
that's nice. Good for you.
And we sometimes agree to disagree, but in the end, we all know if we don't all stay together and work hard with each other, nobody's going anywhere fast. So the continuity in that has been really probably the greatest thing that I ever learned when I moved up here from California in '99. So the conference is always a big deal. And I'd like to throw out there, yes, we got Padholder. They make the iPad holders for municipalities and all kinds of private business. Holds your pads or your computer in your car and things like that. They're doing very well, and they decided to step up. And then the No1 Collison Group out of the Northwest Bellingham and the BC area, they have several body shops. Those are our 2 big title sponsors for the series. And then we had all of our sprint classes have been sponsored this year for trophies. So that's been a huge help in the region and helping out with all the items. And if you want, I can run them all off real quick if you don't mind.
Yeah, 100%.
So we got Tag Senior by Hugler Racing Engines, Junior 2 Briggs 206 Odenthal Racing Products, Briggs Senior Chin Construction, 60cc Cadet Burley Products, Tag Junior Italian Motors, Tag Cadet Lane Landscaping and Fencing, Junior 100cc Augie's Fiberglass, Junior 1 206 is by Cheap Fast Racing, Shifter Light by Helmet House, Tag Heavy presented by Excel Racing, Senior 100cc Generations Bar and Grill, Kid Kart, Midnight Motorsports, Shifter Heavy, Excel Racing, Briggs World Formula, my favorite class, CMC Competition Motors, and we also have Lacan as our spec tire for the year, and along with In-City Prints that helped us with artwork and other things in the past. They were our title sponsor 2 years ago.
That's a lot of off-season work, right? That's bringing everybody together to make sure you have this kind of support. And I think it says a lot with the people that are around you, at the community you guys have built, and to be able to have that kind of support moving into a season, probably one of the reasons why you had so much momentum, I think, coming in as well.
Yes, and as much as I'd like to take credit, it really is the work of everybody. This series would not happen unless it was for several of the shops actually standing up and saying, we got to do something. We got to make sure. And, like I say, some of the classes is something they don't necessarily care for, but they all know that we need to do things to make it good for everybody. And so that's the coolest thing. And like I say, we all agree to disagree on certain aspects, but we all agree that we need to work together in order to make it a whole.
And that's great to hear. We got something with the whole sport I think could use, right?
Yeah. Just something that I learned. Luckily, I learned kind of coming up here and being able to get along with everybody pretty well.
Let's talk about the off season. Let's talk about how the season got rolling, kind of things getting going. Let's talk about that first race. You guys, a couple of weeks ago in Richland, Tri City. What overall your thoughts going into that race? The numbers you were able to draw early, manageable numbers, good numbers. We're talking high teens in some of the classes. It's been a great way to start the season.
Oh, absolutely. And Tri-Cities has always been kind of one of the gems up here. Chilliwack is another West Coast kart. That's another great gem, and I like to say that Portland is McMinnville. We got a really great track and facilities along with, and this year we're going down to Medford, and then and then Sumas, Michael and Claudio and them guys, they really worked hard to make their track and their facility top notch as well as everybody else. And they had a little bit of an issue this year. They got flooded out pretty hard.
A little bit of an issue.
Pretty hard.
That was a lot of flooding.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, they had to gut out their whole, at least 5 feet, all the walls, everything in the whole shop. And some of the track got undermined from some of the flooding and stuff. And I know they're working real hard to get that back into shape. And I think they already had they might've had a race or they're practicing on it. So they're going to be our finale this year.
And of all the tracks you mentioned, I've been to most of them. I don't think I've actually ever been to the McMinnville, but the one track I've actually raced on is the one at Sumas. I love that track. I think it's a ton of fun to drive on.
Oh yeah. They're all unique and they all have their own specialty. And that's kind of the cool thing about the Northwest. Tri-Cities and Medford were designed by the same person, but now with the Tri-Cities remodel and new paving, it's put a whole new twist on it. And it has become a more of a technical track. People are kind of used to going to Tri-Cities because we've been there going a lot of years. And now all of a sudden they have to relearn a whole new page in the book in order to learn everything back all over again. So really the playing field out for this race, because there really wasn't a whole bunch of hometown advantage, if you might say.
Yeah.
Let's also, before we jump in and talk more about the actual action, you can talk about kind of how the event went, the first one at Tri-City. You and I have talked about this before. You guys are going to Medford, right? That's essentially your most southerly race, and it's close to a lot of people, in NorCal. So if people want to come up and sample what you guys are doing, that Medford race would probably be a great one for these guys to roll up from NorCal, even SoCal, to go racing with it. You guys, right?
Oh, you bet. And, it's kind of like that's some of my old stomping grounds. So I kind of like going down there and seeing the guys. And we got some of the NorCal guys moved up there, and it's a pretty good deal. The club has been reorganized and they're really working hard. I know they put in brand new scales, and they put in the new scale house, and they're working on other aspects of it. And I think they did some paving, a little bit of cleanup on that too. And so they got a really good group of people. They're really working hard to make it a great race. And I look forward to seeing some of those NorCal and Northern Nevada people that come back. Hopefully they'll make the trip over and have a little north-south rivalry.
I like that.
It's kind of different what you guys have going up there, because pretty much all the other racetracks we go to, I think, aside from maybe Phoenix, they're all club, and then Sumis, they're all club run. They're all club owned, or at least club run. It's got to be a different sense, because we go to all these racetracks here on the East Coast where, GoPro, they're privately owned, and Newcastle privately owned, and Road America is obviously owned by the major facility, and Florida, Homestead, or Orlando, they're all privately owned. So it's got to be a good feeling to be able to work with all 5 of these facilities, and again, not be you're actually working with volunteers and people who dedicate their time to the sport, similar to what you do.
Well, yes. And it poses its own challenges though, too.
Right.
But the good thing is the clubs, they're racers first, right? And, they work on a budget, and they know what it is to sacrifice and do things. So they do their best to try to make it as good as possible for everybody there, and like McMinnville, we're expecting a good crowd. We're at the fairgrounds, and we got a horse show going on, so it's going to be really, really tight. And we're already asking people, saying, man, just do 100 to 150 square foot per cart, please, so we can shoehorn everybody in there and so everybody has a spot to be in the pits, and then go from there.
If anybody's watching here right now and has any questions for Mike or whatever, the guys that we have on in a bit here, feel free to post them in the comments. We'll bring those up if we possibly can. So, Mike, let's kind of laser focus a bit on the opening round. Overall, were you happy with the way everything kind of rolled out? How was the racing? Was it good?
So we had 3 kinds of. We had wet racing, we had semi-wet, and we had dry racing. And all 3 in one day too. It was pretty amazing. So it was good. I will say this is probably one of the first years that we had the least amount of challenges with the numbers. And I mean, we had great numbers. The staff at Tri Cities really stepped up and worked really hard, got everybody in the pits, got everybody their spots. We had some great workers. The crew that the NWKA has voted on to run the series. Doug Stevens, our race director, Jeff Richmond, our assistant race director, Aaron Stafford, our flagman, Brittany Williams, grid, my daughter Catherine, she's the penalty handout person.
Taking the brunt of the action.
Oh yeah. And then my wife Cindy, she's scoring a registration, and we got in my opinion probably the best tech people in the business, Tom Martinet, and then Brian Verdine, who has volunteered to be like an associate, and he's already picked up. They made the tech lines way faster and way less complicated and less controversy in that aspect. And I will also give a shout out to the racers. They basically really paid attention this year and really tried to make it be on time, get their lineups correct, not throw big hissy fits if they didn't get the right spot, and they brought it to the attention. We took care of it as best we could, as quickly as we could, and we really did well. Even with all that, the COVID and all the other stuff that we've had the last couple of years, we're just happy to see our Canadian friends come back across the border. Man, that was a big, the BC guys, and they loved coming across again. So it was great racing, good numbers in all the fields. Tag senior was the big surprise for us. I think we had over 25 or 26 tag seniors.
And so again, that's multi-engine format, correct?
That is correct. And we run, and our tag committee has been working real hard to try to get those weights and get the everything as close as possible. And, quite honestly, the top 5 both days had 5 different engines. So, I mean,
what? Seriously?
Yes, we had road taxes. Well, I'll take that back. The Vortex, I think, maybe not, but I know that the Italian motors, the X125s, the road tax is right in there, along with the. I think we had one IAME made an appearance and got up in there a little bit. The junior, a little bit different numbers. The tag heavies, holy cow, there was some really good racing there. And Hunter Hesseltine in the tag heavy, he got himself the PRD Galaxy and got everything set up, and that's one of Hugler's imports. He gave those tag heavies a good run for the money.
I love that. Well, listen, speaking of guys that were able to do well at the opening round, let's bring in Boden Barnwell and Rusty Lingle. They're going to come and join us here, a couple of the winners from the show. Boden, let's start with you, man. 206 senior, obviously one of the, I think, more hard-fought races, categories around the country, right, wherever we go. What are your thoughts overall on how 206 senior was at Tri City?
It was great. There was good competition. What else?
Give us an overview on your weekend. How did you flat dominate, or how did things go?
Going into the weekend, I was pretty confident. I didn't think I was really going to really dominate, but I thought it was going to be close. Saturday it rained and we didn't have I ran multiple classes, so I ran one set of tires for both classes, and it took a toll. But I'm not big on racing in the rain, but if I have to, yeah. So I ended up third. Sunday was great. I had one. Well, we ended up getting DQ'd in the pre-final on Sunday because some technicality. And in the main, we had to start in the back. I like the standing starts, at least for me. They're not bad, but some people might complain. So I had a good start and ended up coming back, and I won.
Hold on.
Go, David, go.
Hold on. Standing starts. Talk a little bit about that.
You want me to go with that part?
Well, yeah, Mike, go ahead and talk about that, and then we'll get Boden's reaction on what he thinks about standing starts.
So we run multiple classes, and so we're always pressed for time of the day and stuff. And it seemed like, and I think this is kind of common all over, Junior 2 tends to be the most not getting it right.
Chaotic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we decided to, since the shifters all do standing starts, why can't the 4-stroke guys do it? So by doing that, we've done that now. This is the 3rd year or 4th year that all 4-strokes are all standing starts.
So
and,
do you do it like style. Rock Out, like F1 style, or Rock Island, like coming in like this?
No, F1 on the grid. You roll out, you do your half lap, you come up, you set up, you get the flag just like shifter, and you go. And quite honestly, I know some guys really don't, some racers really don't like it, but I'm telling you, we have eliminated multiple crashes in the turn 1 debacle because people are always in and out and doing things.
And
so it's pretty
going through turn 1, and I was able.
Boden's getting coached right now. Boden, you're getting coached. We can hear you.
Yeah. Sorry.
But
it's good.
So
it's good.
We've done that, and it's helped out the Junior 2s. And when you got 28 or 30 Junior 2s all trying to doing that 15 or 20 mile an hour in the turn versus the 35, 40 mile an hour in the turn, it just makes for a better day, and you get through it. And
it's a street race thing, right?
It's And you know what? You just got to have your game on for the starts. That's all there is to it. Got to have the game on.
Do it at Rock Island all the time, man.
Yeah. So Boden, do you like the standing starts more than rolling starts for 206 and World Formula?
You know, I really prefer the rolling starts, but I had no issue with figuring out the standing starts, but
yeah. So obviously starting last, the standing start is a little bit better for you, because if you're able to get off that line a little bit better, you're able to get 4 or 5 guys before turn 1.
Yeah, I did. So
and he did do that. Let me tell you,
that's awesome.
So you're bouncing back between the 206 and World Formula. Again, a lot of people, I had one, I just actually sold it. I never raced it. But tell us kind of the difference between, because the World Formula actually came before the 206. Tell us a little bit about the differences between the World Formula and the 206.
So the World Formula, I mean, yeah, it has a bit more power. Its rev limiter is higher. It's at 7,100 RPM. It doesn't quite have you actually can feel a power band in it. So it doesn't, consistently pull like the 206 does. The 206 runs a bit smoother. And I do like the 206 a lot more than the World Formula, though. I do.
Bode, let's give you the chance. Let's give you the chance to throw out about your shop you're with, engine builder, what chassis you're running. Give us some information of what you're riding out there.
So I mainly just drive a Burrell. It's a specific 4-stroke frame chassis. It's narrower than most. And we figured it out. It works good. It's consistent everywhere.
Is it the Burrell AM29?
Yeah, the AM29.
That's a good 4-cycle chassis for sure.
I think everybody's driven one.
Yeah. So that's good. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And engine wise, who takes care of your engines?
So for World Formula, I have Tom Egan at Egan Motorsports built my World Formula, and then for 206, I have what? Oh, so
it's okay, Boden.
I mainly build my own 206 motors.
Nice.
So and then Dan Pellizzari also. He's been working me through on how to build them. So yeah.
Let's look forward for you, Boden, for McMinnville. Is that a track that suits you well? Are you going to be in the hunt there as well?
It's not that technical. I mean, it can be a little bit, but it's not quite as technical as like Tri Cities or some other tracks. It's more wide open. It's so it can be a little closer racing that McMinnville.
Yeah.
So
bring everybody into the game. Yeah, I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we go from the World Formula and the 206 to Rusty Lingle, shifter kart guy in the shifter heavy class. Rusty, overall, how do you look at your race? You ended up getting a victory there. What was the weekend like for you at Tri City?
It was amazing. It was basically a flawless weekend for me. Luckily, right? That's just how it works. But B&R Racing is a great group of guys, and I'm really lucky to be involved with them. They just in the pits, the preparation, just an awesome weekend overall. I was really lucky.
And, before we came on, one of the things we talked about was the fact that you guys had 17 guys in shifter heavy as well. Sometimes that's a class that can be massive. It's fallen back around the country. Shifter karts, let's be real, have kind of shrunk down a little bit in a majority of the country. But it seems like with the NorthWest Karting Association, good numbers, of course, as you said, 17 in shifter heavy. What's the vibe like with your class out there?
I think everybody's just wanting to have a just overall goal is to have fun. And there's a wide variety of drivers in the shifter heavy, from new guys to very experienced guys. And the goal is fun, right? Like everybody just wants to smile and everybody just wants to have a great time. We're all friends. And it's the vibe is awesome. It's a great class to be in, and the NWK does such an awesome job, right? Like it's a great race and a great series to be involved in.
What now? The shifter categories, is that very similar to what the tags are, with multiple engines running in the category?
Oh yeah. I mean, the majority of the guys have the TM, but there's definitely, the SGM is a big part of it. TM's a big motor, and I think there's a couple others in there. I'm not sure what everybody's running, but majority is TM. But yeah, there's lots of, or I can think of maybe 4 that are available to run.
Anybody on the stock Honda still, or is it all just the like ICC KZ engine kind of thing?
Actually, David Shorn was running a stock Honda at 99, and he killed it. He did great. The Honda doesn't compare, right? I mean, to the TM, but
yeah, but it still has that sound.
Yeah, he held his own. He held his own. I was very impressed. I mean, that's cool. Really where the show was, because considering, we're on that 50 horsepower category and he's coming in at the 40 horsepower category, I was really impressed with how well he did.
Mike, talk about that a little bit. How many guys did you have in the light class, the shifter light class?
We had right at about 15 or 16 also,
okay.
I think. And we were missing a couple of them. Last year's champion, Becklin. I can't think of his first name now. Cooper, yes.
Yep.
Cooper Becklin,
He didn't make it, unfortunately. He had COVID, and he couldn't make it up this weekend. Don was a little bit bummed. He brought his daughter Lucy up, and they ran in the tag class. But I know that they are looking forward to hitting the next race and doing the rest of the series as much as they can. He's doing cars and stuff, but it's going to be really good because he got Gil, and we got I believe Evan Arnold is in there, and there's a couple some pretty good shoes. That's going to be some real good racing. And got Cam Ager in there, and
who?
Wow, David throwing the barb. Hey, here's one thing, Mike and Rusty, both you guys are obviously in the community, about the shifter community. We talk a lot about how numbers breed numbers, right? When there's 15, 16, 20 shifters, the guys with shifters are like, well, I got to get back out there. That kind of FOMO, that fear of missing out. Is there that kind of a vibe right now? Rusty, are you talking to other guys saying, hey, listen, we had 17 guys, 18 guys out there. Come on out. Let's make it 20. Let's make it 25. Is there that kind of momentum right now?
Definitely. My girlfriend is like just shocked with how my phone rings and everybody's calling me and like, hey, I think we want to run your class. Like, how many guys? How good was it? I'm on the phone constantly, and I'm a talker, so I enjoy it. But yes, the vibe is definitely out there. People are hearing it, and they want to get involved. There's a lot of guys in Oregon that have shifters and don't run, and I've been really trying to get them out to the track and just enjoy it, right? Like, why not bring them? There's a whole group of guys with Hondas down there that really just need to get involved. They would have a blast.
Yeah, Mike, it's obviously one of the things that you guys do with your tag programs. It's more about being inclusive than exclusive, right? It's not like it's a one make engine kind of program. You're trying to let everybody come into play. Where are you on the weight levels for the guys in the stock Hondas? Is it light enough that they can compete with the big KZ motors?
Yeah, I think we're a little bit. The Honda's still at a disadvantage, and when you're getting into light, you almost need a $150 driver in order to really
that's true
to make the Honda really, really competitive and get it down to where you need to be. In the heavy, it's not quite so bad. David, my son, he could stand to lose about 10 or 20 pounds and still be right there, and probably would help the Honda out a little bit. But he's kind of a part-time, and I think he's going to focus more on the road race. We got a great Honda program in the road race. That's where everybody's going, and we're all running stock Honda there. We got 15, 20 Hondas in that, and they're all drafting each other. I mean,
I'm telling you, David, Pacific Northwest is where it's at right now.
Everything's a cycle, man. Because before, when the Pro Tour started, it was all Hondas there, and then everybody started running KZs on road racing. Now KZ's going back to road racing, and then eventually Hondas are all going to go back road racing. It's just a big cycle.
So. Yeah, that's kind of Terry Ives, when I first started racing, he kind of said that you'll see cycles like that. You'll get like 3 or 4 years, it'll be pretty big club racing, and everybody kind of says, oh, I want to do something else now. So then they'll jump into the regional, and then you got like 3 to 4 years where the regional thing is really pretty good deal, and they'll think, wow, do I really want to spend all that much money, or blah blah blah. And then they say, let's back it down and we'll go back into the club racing, and you get a 3 to from what I can see or experience, you're seeing a 3 to 5 year swing typically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, Rusty, let's give you the same question we asked Boden. What are you thinking about for McMinnville? Is that a track that he says not quite as technical, maybe a little wider open? Let the big dog eat on that KZ. What do you think? Is that a track that's going to be good for you?
Oh, I love McMinnville. I've never had a problem there. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I never underestimate, anybody else coming, but I'm bringing it. I love that track. It's a little bit higher speed. It's a little bit maybe more flowy, not so point and shoot. And yeah, you got to let it hang out, and you got to make it happen there. So I'm looking for a victory for sure.
What chassis are you on? I don't think we ever figured out what chassis you roll.
Croc Promotion.
Oh, you're on the Croc Promotion.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I won a lot of races.
Oh man, the thing is phenomenal. That was my Tri Cities race. Was my first race on it.
Good
and
stuff.
VNR Racing hooked me up. It's such a sweet experience for me, and that the chassis and just everything about it was working flawless. I think I did one adjustment besides I got in a little accident and had to switch my axle, but I narrowed my front end a little bit, didn't touch it all weekend. Even for the rain, I just threw my rain tires on and went out. And
so Boden, who are the big guns that you're raced against in the 206 senior class? Cole and I, big 206 guys, big shifter guys. Both of us have raced both of those. Who are the guys you're going to have to go head to head with at McMinnville?
It's going to be, Riley Miller, Zach Meyer, if Trey Arnzen, if he races, those guys, Lucas Eith in the World Formula, if he runs World Formula. So
he will. He wants the cash.
Yeah.
What's this cash all about? You got money up for grabs in World Formula?
Oh yeah. So we have this has kind of been for the longest time. Garth Malky started it up several years ago. But both him and Don Humble with CMC, Don's throwing out 400 a day to win. And then everybody throws in an extra 50 a day. And then 20% of that goes to the winner. And then what we do, everybody that entered is their names in a hat. And then we have a drawing for like $1.20 or $1.30 each day. So nice. Whether you win or you don't have to win money.
Yeah. So,
and that's kind of the cool thing about it. And McMinnville's is more the World Formula track. So we're hoping to see about 15, 20. If everybody shows up, we'll have about 15, 20 WFs at McMinnville.
That's awesome. So how many numbers did you end up? What was the final total? I know you guys blew past the 100 pre-entry pretty quickly. Yeah. What did you guys end up with overall for Tri City?
We were close to the record. We had 170 the first 74 or 75 the first day and 182 the second day.
Whoa.
So we were a little bit shy of I think our best at Tri-Cities was 385 total. We were a little bit shy of that, but considering, I think that was an awesome event and an awesome numbers, way more spread, even throughout all of them. Everything was double digit with the exception of the tag cadet, but everything else is double digit numbers. And that's kind of the good thing about everything with that.
That had 11. So
it did.
Never mind. You got it split up. Never mind.
Yeah, we got the 60 and a tag cadet. They run together.
Okay, gotcha.
So are we thinking maybe 200 a day? That's a number that we throw out there a lot. When you hit that 200 number, you got I know it's 200 to get 400, but when you hit that 200 number, that becomes national level stuff there.
Yeah.
It's like we don't have any room at McMinnville.
that's part of the problem. I mean, McMinnville, like I say, we have a big state high school horse show going on the same weekend, so we're all struggling to figure out where we're going to find parking and everything for everybody. Yeah. But the fairgrounds has been really good. We've worked with them for the last 10, 15 years, and we seem to always find a way. And like I say, the cool thing about the Northwest, if you ask, most everybody will, once they get there, they see what's going on, and they'll say, oh yeah, that guy can go in our tent, and come on over, put him in there. We'll make room, make sure everybody gets a spot.
Well, that leads me to the final question. We'll go around the horn. Boden, I'll start with you. Get rid of that mute. There you go. What's the overall vibe? You're in your group. Obviously with the World Formula and the Briggs. Rusty's in his group with the shifter karts. Mike's, of course, in the promoter side, organization side. How do you feel the vibe is within all the drivers in the 4-cycle stuff with this program?
In the 4-cycle, everybody's super friendly, out on the track, everybody's super clean, we'll get some rubbing in, but
that's all right.
I like rubbing a little bit.
It's good. So overall you feel a real good positive vibe with the guys in Briggs and World Formula.
Yeah.
Nice. What about you, Rusty? Same thing. It seems like the shifter kart guys are always that way. I ran shifters a lot in my career, so did David, road racing. Especially when it's the heavy guys, right? The guys that have to work on Monday. They kind of take care of each other out there, but they still race hard. Is there a really good vibe going on right now?
Yeah, everybody in our shifter community, they're friends outside the track, right? We're all communicating and talking, and it's like nobody. I mean, I'm sure we all have our little secrets, but everybody's sharing information. It's just common to tell everybody what gear you're on and discuss and what you're doing and try to teach each other what we know. And it's just a great group of guys all the way around. I don't think I can think of one person that it's, that's got an attitude or is not fun to race with. Everybody is high level, just people,
Mike, you've been in the sport a long time. Where do you rate the vibe, the atmosphere, and kind of the positioning for the NorthWest Karting Association right now?
Well, we're doing very well, and I'm pretty excited. Usually I hate to say this, first race of the season, I usually go in, it's like, oh man, kind of dreading it. It's kind of like everybody's got cabin fever and they got cobwebs, and so they're taking it out on the track, and then stuff happens, and then you got the behind the scenes issues, which we didn't really have a lot this time, which is awesome. And I didn't get pulled aside a lot at this first race. A couple little things here, and they were very minor, and I was somewhat dumbfounded. I guess it's like, okay, I got to pinch myself. This is pretty good. So, and quite honestly, it's the club, Tri Cities, all the clubs are represented there. They're all working on it. One thing that Joe Janowski came out and he brought his electronic flags, and that was pretty awesome. And I'm hoping that we can incorporate those more and more. Each club will get their own set and stuff, because it did make a difference. And
let's go to both drivers about that. Boden, what did you think about having the electronic flag program?
I didn't pay attention to them too much, but I noticed them here and there.
It was all green for their classes. They didn't have to worry about it.
That's true.
Oh, that's good then.
Rusty, what about you?
I thought they were awesome. I did catch a couple lappers, and it was nice to see that flag blue. I think some of the guys were a little confused on if the blue was for them, right, or not.
Yeah, of course.
But I think as that establishes more, that'll be a little bit more clear. I really enjoyed the lights. I thought they were awesome.
And Mike, when you and I were talking a long time ago about this, did you say Janowski was going to try to get his fat butt into a go-kart soon too? Did you say that?
Well, he came out, he brought the cart, but he decided, I think I'm just going to promote the lights.
Oh, man. Oh, I got to focus on the lights.
Yeah.
Although he did,
it's so hard pushing a button.
No, I will say though, Jeff and Doug, they got the remotes and they were using them pretty exclusively, and they're doing well. Joe did say he got a lot of work done in this motorhome. It was pretty nice. He got a lot of work done during the week, so good for him. And he's taking a little vacation and then hitting back back to Indy this week, I think he is. So
Well, we'll get Jolt and Joe back out on the track. I don't think it'll be alongside Rusty in a shifter heavy. I think it'll be more running with Boden in 206.
Yeah.
in
Yeah. I was looking. You guys don't have a 206 heavy. Otherwise, Janowski would have raced.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. That's why we got World Formula. All the heavy guys go there, right?
There you go.
Well, guys, I'm telling you, this is great. Again, what we wanted to accomplish here was to let people know how great karting is up in the Pacific Northwest. It just feels you guys have something going here right now. I know that when I first started in the sport back in the mid '90s, the very first race I ever traveled to cover was at Tradex back in the day. And of course, that was IKF Region 6 Gold Cup. Same kind of thing. A lot of big names there. It feels like you guys, Mike, have got something really good going right now. And that this is when clubs can work together to have a true regional program. That is about the best our sport can be, I think.
I believe that also. And that's one of the cool things when I moved up here and I seen that. And it's like, man, this is the way it was. The four founders designed it, and it works like it's supposed to. And yes, you have to have cooperation from everybody, and everybody's up here realizes if we don't work together, we're not going to have much of anything. And so that's the cool part. And
that's awesome.
And the shops are all good. Like I say, we pretty much have an open tent. This racing up here is an open tent racing. We have some tents, but those doors are wide open also, and anybody can go in and talk to anybody. And there's just a whole bunch of bench racing at the end of the day. You know, they pop a cold one and just have a good time.
I love it. Well, guys, Boden, Rusty, thank you so much for joining us, guys. I appreciate it. We wish you the best and continued success throughout the season. We'll be watching those results to make sure you guys are back on top of the box again. So good luck to both of you guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Mike, again, awesome stuff with the NorthWest Karting Association, both on the sprint and the road race side. We do appreciate you taking the chance to chat with us, and we'll make sure that we touch base again before the end of the season. Sound good?
Great. Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it and look forward to some more.
All right, man.
Oh, there we go. Sorry.
David.
I was quick on the trigger.
Sorry, guys. David was doing all right, man. Dude, that's listen, I've been to a number of races up in the Pacific Northwest, and it's, we don't focus on it a lot. They don't do a lot of promotion themselves in terms of race reports for us to get on the website. But to be able to connect with Mike and of course the racers, Rusty and Boden, it's awesome to see what they've built up there right now.
Yeah, it was one of my solo trips with eKartingNews.com was go up to Portland, do the road race Grand Nationals there. I think it was 2006. Little quiz for you. There was a Gulick race in there.
Was there?
There wasn't Jake. No, it was his father. It was his dad road racing. He actually was racing with CMC and the Homebos and everything like that. Both racing, I think, tag and shifter.
Okay. That's
and
awesome.
I think maybe even a laydown class too. So,
well, it's a great program right now.
Yeah.
When you hear Mike talk about it, the drivers talk about it and the vibe, it feels like it's got momentum.
Like they all said, it's about getting everybody on the same page and coming out and have fun. And I mean, again, that's where sport is. And again, that's kind of some of the things we miss out at the national level a lot of times is people are so focused on being the best that you keep forgetting, hey, we're also here to have fun too. Well,
and you and I keep talking about that, right? Karting is supposed to be fun. And we talk about the pyramid with that really strong club grassroots foundation.
Yep.
That leads into the regional program. It's not quite as big, but it's all the best drivers that want to challenge themselves in the regional program. Top regional drivers then go national level racing, and that's the pyramid that feeds itself. It feeds the sport. It feeds the industry. And for me, I love having a discussion like this when it just feels like everybody in the Pacific Northwest, all pushing in the same direction.
Yeah, because we're seeing that grassroots level keep growing at all and again, you got 4 different clubs and 5 different racetracks all involved in the program. If their clubs are growing, they're able to feed this regional program. And again, there's other programs and other racetracks in the area as well too. There's a couple, there's the BC Sprint Summer Sprint Series going on.
Yep.
I didn't even know there was a Vancouver Island Karting Association. I had no idea.
I didn't
so again, there's that almost that FOMO like you were talking about since COVID, and I think our sport's really celebrating that, and people are getting out to the racetrack and just trying to do stuff and have fun, and hopefully it continues.
Yeah, and to be realistic, it's not all sunshine and lollipops, right? There are some areas in the sport of the country that aren't quite jiving right now. They're struggling a little bit more with numbers and tracks. This is not one of them. Pacific Northwest.
Right.
Awesome right now. So and so look them up, folks. It's the Padholder I believe, is the website for the series. Of course, any Google search for the NorthWest Karting Association. Follow them on social media. They're on Facebook. We know that for sure. We're going to work with them to try to get some more race reports here as well, because as we've said, over the almost 3 decades that you and I have been in this, David, at least myself as a journalist side of it, you coming around to 17 or 18 now. There's always been great guys coming out of the Pacific Northwest, right? Top teams, top drivers. Winning big races, so there's a ton of talent up there.
Well, that's just it. You got to have the racetracks, and you got to have the industry behind it. And I think the Northwest is they've had the racetracks, they're getting more racetracks, and the shops now are getting back behind everything, and they're bringing the racers out, and that's what you need. Everybody working together.
That's exactly it. And again, big thank you to Mike, Boden, and Rusty for joining us here on this edition of Face to Face. Lots more to come over the next couple of weeks. There's some big races rolling up. We've got guys like Terry Trader from the Quincy Grand Prix going to sit down and chat with us. Andy Saisman's going to talk about the California Rock Championship heading up to Pat's Acres, another awesome track in the Pacific Northwest. So look forward to lots more of our video content here on EKN on the YouTube channel. We stream on Facebook as well. But that'll wrap up this edition of the show. On behalf of David Cole, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.